What have we just watched? Manchester United are above Liverpool in the league. Manchester United have just confined Liverpool to their first defeat of 2022. Think about the significance of this result. Think about the way that Manchester United have opened this season. Think about who Liverpool are. Think about what Liverpool represent. And Erik ten Hag and Manchester United have just leapfrogged them in the league with only their first points this season. This is huge. And do you know who we have to praise? Before we get into it, before we actually explore what's going on, before we explore the events of tonight, we must give Erik ten Hag a huge pat on the back because he got this so right. He was so brave, he was so bold, and he made a statement of intent. When the team sheets were announced, I was shocked. I genuinely was shocked. Not only was Erik ten Hag brave enough to drop Harry Maguire, who, regardless of what we think of Harry Maguire, regardless of the form that Harry Maguire has displayed, he is the club captain. In a home game against Liverpool, you need your captain. So Ten Hag made a statement there. Then, at the other end of the pitch, the talisman, the mercurial man, Cristiano Ronaldo. If there's ever a game for Cristiano Ronaldo, it is Liverpool at home when you play for Manchester United. And he dropped him as well. That was a statement of intent. And if you think about what Gary Neville has been saying about Erik ten Hag since he took the job, he said that Erik ten Hag is going to need to take that club by the scruff of the neck. And if you drop the captain and the main man, albeit an unhappy main man, you really are making a gutsy statement. And that is what Erik ten Hag did. So we must acknowledge that. Not only did he drop those two, by the way, he also dropped Fred and Luke Shaw, but that's by the by. He really did get it right, Ten Hag. But, you know, when you are a manager, you live and die by those decisions. And it takes a very particular kind of man to make that decision. So fair play to him. It was a clever thing to do. It could have been seen as being reckless. If they had lost that game, we would now be talking about how can you drop the captain? How can you drop Cristiano Ronaldo? Surely Fred needs to play. Luke Shaw needs to play. Like, he was bold and valiant, and it's paid off for him. So I am pleased for him. It's worked. And Manchester United looked better. Manchester United were great, weren't they? I can't believe what we've witnessed, but they were great. And I think that back two of Varane and Martinez, it works. Harry Maguire has his work cut out. I'm not sure that he's going to get back into that team. And Elanga, initially at least, was given that sort of licence to roam free and inflict whatever damage he could find on that Liverpool back line. Were they susceptible to his runs? Marcus Rashford then interchanged with him. And it really did work. That free-flowing, fluid style really did work for Manchester United. And at times, Liverpool just could not live with it. And it is a huge statement of intent from the new Manchester United manager. And on some level, I'm pleased for him. But what this means for the title race, I do not know. If you think about what happened this weekend, when Manchester City dropped points, people were saying, oh, perhaps there's an opportunity for someone else. I didn't see it that way at all, by the way. When Manchester City dropped points against Newcastle in that exact circumstance, I saw it as 2 points, a point gained rather than 2 points dropped. They snatched a point when they didn't look like they were going to get anything. And that is what champions do. Combine that with the fact that they are now miles away from Liverpool, who are the only side capable of actually challenging them. I know Arsenal were the only unbeaten side in the country, but I don't believe that Arsenal were going to have the minerals to win the league, to beat City to a league title. You were going to need to accrue somewhere around the 95-point region. To have any hope of winning the league, you're going to need to hit 95 points. As good as Arsenal's looked, I don't think they have it in them. Equally, I don't think Liverpool are going to be able to close that gap. You know, Liverpool have astonished me before. Jurgen Klopp has worked things against the odds before. He is supreme at what he does, but this Liverpool team, this iteration of Liverpool, it just doesn't look good enough to me. Replacing Sadio Mane was the impossible task, and it really is now looking very tough for them. I mean, the game itself, it was breathtaking, wasn't it? Wasn't it just a magnificent game of football to watch? I feel like I need to sort of calm down myself, right? I've turned this on immediately on full time, and I am buzzing. The endorphins and the adrenaline is going because that really was a breakneck game of football. So much going on. And Manchester United, off the back of what's happened against Brighton and Brentford, were wounded. And they launched themselves into this game. They were sort of stung into action by their two previous appalling performances. And I mean, I can't believe that we've been doing this review for however long and we haven't spoken about that first goal. Wasn't it exceptional? That goal superbly crafted by Jadon Sancho. Silk, quick feet, calmness to just slot it in, to do that to Van Dijk as well. Like to make Van Dijk commit and overcommit and end up on the floor in a heap. Jadon Sancho, to be that calm in that situation is so impressive. But Liverpool's defence was at sixes and sevens. It was all over the place. And after the goal, James Milner gave Van Dijk a real piece of his mind, for everybody, by the way, in Old Trafford to see. He wasn't hiding it at all. And I think he was right, Milner. You know, Van Dijk did not get close enough to Sancho in the box. And if you could lip read what Milner was saying, he was saying you've got to get close to him. He said a few other things as well, but he certainly said one of the things that you can lip read, you've got to get close to him. And he didn't. You know, he didn't do that. And ultimately, it was James Milner who has to dive into no avail. It's not good enough from Van Dijk. And that was a microcosm of the whole game. You know, the best players for Liverpool didn't really turn it on. And Manchester United looked fantastic. They really did look fantastic. And I'm not sure where that sort of performance came from United. It's a sort of metamorphosis compared to what we saw. That lethargic, uninterested, almost a victim display from Manchester United at Brentford. You know, they were bullied. Manchester United that day, Brentford was so much bigger and they bullied them. United looked like a team full of shorties, as I called them on that review. And that wasn't the case today. I mean, they were strong and they were hassling Liverpool and they were harrying Liverpool and they made Liverpool's defence make several mistakes and they were well worth their lead. They were excellent. There were a few moments at the end. Salah got an equal one back, and you could kind of feel the entire atmosphere around Old Trafford just sink slightly. There was a moment where you could kind of feel everybody get slightly nervous. And that was typified by the players. You know, Varane suddenly got a cramp and Bruno Fernandes wound me up. Not even my team and it wound me up. You know, holding on to the ball. When Mo Salah and Luis Diaz are trying to get it back, they were both being incredibly polite. And then Bruno Fernandes sort of faked a bit of an eye injury, which I thought was, again, fairly pathetic. But you do what you got to do, don't you? It's frustrating when it's not your team, and when your team are doing it, you totally endorse it. So yeah, I mean, for Salah, by the way, scored again against Manchester United. I'm doing this off the top of my head, but I swear he scores against Manchester United basically every time he plays them. Have you noticed that? Basically every single time he plays against them, he scores goals. But where Liverpool go from here, I don't know. I'm going to do a deep dive into this tomorrow on this channel, by the way. I'm going to meet my friend Adi Oladipo. We're really going to focus on this. But if you think about that midfield that should have been rejuvenated, you know, Liverpool, it looked like they were going to sign Tchouaméni. I heard from some fairly significant sources, like that went under the radar, that Tchouaméni was going to Liverpool until Real Madrid swooped. Then that didn't work out, and there was sort of murmurings around Bellingham. They needed that, because when you think about the midfielders that were playing for Liverpool today, Henderson, Milner, Elliott, Carvalho, Fabinho, you know, when you think about them, if you group them into ages, where's the 26-year-old? You know, you've got the experience, where's the 27-year-old who's taken the grain by the scruff of the neck in his prime? I think that is where Liverpool are going to struggle. Look, replacing Sadio Mane is the impossible task, I know that. But that midfield needs to be rejuvenated because it just doesn't have enough in it at the moment. Tricky times ahead. It's almost like somebody said they saw it coming. A difficult season for Liverpool, eh? But I'm sure they'll come good. We know how good Jurgen Klopp is. And it's the high standards they've set themselves. They've been virtually perfect for 5 years. And they're almost a victim of their own success because they are part of the reason that you now need to hit 95 points to win the league. You know, under normal circumstances, before they change the game, it wouldn't be as drastic as this. But to be this far behind this early, I don't see where we get a title race. Am I wrong? Are you a Liverpool fan and do you still believe that the title is there? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to go live on Twitch now to discuss this because this is huge. Please click subscribe in a bit.